What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Sky Talk Sports. This is another Monday that absolutely sucks because of the Aggies. This is kind of a special edition. This one's going to be mainly focused on the Aggies. Now, not that there wasn't a lot of good things that went down or bad things that went down that are talkable in college football this weekend. I was back at the ranch again. We had a large group of guys in, football on the TV all weekend. There's plenty to talk about. You could go with Washington and Oregon and how great of a game that was and what we learned about that. You could go with Dion and Travis Hunter and what we found out about them, how they blow a lead and how he might not be the best cornerback in the world has ever seen. How you could also jump into what in the hell Mike Gundy has put into the Gatorade over at Oklahoma State to have them bounce back and start winning football games. But this is about the Aggies. In particular, Jimbo Fisher and why we're still doing this. Why we are perpetuating the ideology of insanity, the definition of insanity. We repeatedly do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. That is Jimbo Fisher to a T. It is insane what is going on at Texas A&M right now. I mean, if you're going to blame it on the kids, you're a fool. If you're going to try to nitpick plays that the kids are making, you're crazy. Leave that alone. We've got 5 stars out the butt. We've got fantastic athletes, 4 stars out the butt. We've got more stars than the freaking Milky Way. And we can't put it together. It's not the kids. If you're somebody that says, yeah, we can't, we got to let this thing play out with Jimbo because there's $75 million at stake. We got to do this. We got to just quit. Jimbo Fisher's era needs to be over. It needs to be done. We need to rip the Band-Aid off, and there's nothing to even talk about anymore. I didn't even watch the post-game press conference, but I can bet you that it went something like this. Yeah, kids played hard. Kids are tough. We got tough kids, man. They really played hard, but we got to execute better. We got to get better in all 3 phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. We got to get better in all those. We got to execute. And we also got to coach them up better. We got to coach them up better, and that's on us. And we're going to do a better job of that starting this week. We got a bye week coming up. And we got time for guys to get healthy, and we can look forward to going into South Carolina. They got a really good ball team, But really, most importantly, it's just about finding the inches. Any questions? I promise you, I haven't watched the thing, but I guarantee you everything I just said right there at some point was said in there. We got freaking Boomhauer for a head coach right now, and that's what's going on. The whole freaking scheme, the entire organization feels like a skit from King of the Hill with Boomhauer in the lead. It's the most mind-boggling thing I've ever seen. Josh Pate came out and said that what's crazy to him is that people think that who would want to come to A&M as a coach because it's a Tier 3 type program, it's a Tier 2 type. No, it's not. And Josh Pate was right. Everything you need to win a national championship doesn't have to be brought into A&M. It is there. We've got the facilities. We've got as much money as anybody in the nation. We've got more stars than the Milky Way. We've got everything that you need, and we're continuing to build. Everything you need to walk in and win a national championship is there. And that's what we were led to believe we were getting with Jimbo Fisher. I called it from day freaking one that this was a bad hire. Me and my father-in-law talked about this, and people were all on board, and I'm telling him, this is not a good hire. There was so much better we could have done than Jimbo Fisher. Why? Because the only real success he had is when he had players that, I'm not going to say they were outlaws or anything like that, but I mean, if you look by the definition of what was going on at the time, they were getting to run amok. They were getting to do whatever they wanted to do, and they were physically gifted athletes that were allowed to play no matter what they did. And it was basically just go out there and win football games. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened with Florida State. We've got from stealing crab legs, we've got girl issues, we've got all kind of issues that happened over there that if it happened here, you would see, well, you may not see. We're trying to kind of do that here. We had somebody get arrested a couple weeks ago, and they were held out for about 6 minutes of the first quarter and then got back in there and got to play. He's not a leader. He is not a leader. There is not, we're not seeing, and when you want to say that it's the kids that are doing that, we're making bad plays, we're missing this read, we're missing, we're not getting our blocking assignments right, we're not running the routes right, we're getting confused on coverages. That's the coaching. That's the coaching portion of this. Who hires the coaches? Jimbo Fisher does. You want to say it's Adazio and Adazio sucks. Who hired him? Jimbo Fisher did. You want to say that the secondary is not playing good coverage. Who hired that guy? Who promoted that? Jimbo Fisher did. You want to gripe about Petrino not coming in and doing what was also... Petrino was doing it the first few games. These past 2 games, the second half has looked identical to Jimbo Fisher putting his stamp of approval on how an offense should be run. Trying not to lose. Not trying to win. That's not in Jimbo Fisher's coaching scheme. That's not in his playbook, trying to win. Trying not to lose is the entire basis of the Jimbo Fisher philosophy. Run the clock all the way down to as little as it can possibly be and hope that you're winning by 3 points at the end of the game. That's the entire philosophy. There's no attack mode at all. And it is so freaking frustrating that, I think everybody should be fired, top to bottom. And what I have no vote in the entire deal. I have no say in anything that goes on. So you're probably laughing at your screen right now, and rightfully so, because I'm a nobody. However, the entire freaking organization, from the people that gave Jimbo the contract extension, that gave him the guaranteed money that we could never get out of, that have allowed him to turn something so great. I'll give him the recruiting side. We have recruited our butt off. Our donors have gave millions, hundreds of millions to have the best facilities out there. Our fans have also gave hundreds of millions, because unless you haven't been to a game and bought tickets lately and bought food up there and bought beer up there and bought every souvenir that's sold under the sun in Aggie Land, you'll understand, if you've done that, how much money gets pumped in by the fans, how much passion gets pumped in by the fans, how sickening the fans are now. It's gut-wrenching to have to watch this week after week. How sad it is for the kids who really thought they had a chance, but have a coach that does not go on the attack ever. We're going into battle with a leader who says, let's hide behind the trees and hopefully they'll forget we're over here. That's the Jimbo Fisher battle strategy. There is no, here's how we're going to go, here's how we're going to attack their front lines, and here's how we're going to be victorious. No, it's, hey, let's run up there and show face, and then let's hide behind the trees, and then when they're done, maybe they'll forget we're over here, and we can step out after knocking a few of them down and say, hey, we won. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, and yet we're somehow still stuck in this downward spiral of what do we do? There is nothing else to do. 6 years is plenty of time, and it has been repetitive. Here's what he did year 1. Here's what he did year 2. Here's, COVID year, great year. Nobody showed up to play. Half the players across the country quit playing for the year, but somehow we were able to win some games and put together a nice-looking season. After that, back to the same thing over and over again. Here we are now in 2023. We just went from Aggies should be really good this year, although we're unranked. We start out looking strong. We go in, we play Miami. Oh, the Aggies suck because we weren't able to beat Miami, even though anybody that watched the game went, A&M should have beat Miami. Then we come back in and we start going again, and now it's, they beat Auburn. Oh, they beat Arkansas. If they could beat Alabama, the Aggies would be in the first place position in the SEC West with a chance to play Georgia for an SEC championship. Last week, we had people talking about how A&M had a shot to get in the college football playoffs if they could win out. And then we go to Alabama, or we play Alabama at home. I should say go, because it costs $3,000 to go watch that game. We play Alabama at home. Should have beat them. Just most definitely looked like the best team at the first half. And then we throw it away in the second with 3 points. Then we go to Tennessee, and we can get back on track if we can beat a ranked Tennessee. Come out like gangbusters, then fall completely apart. Winning at halftime again, but you know how it goes. We'll just score 3 in the second half. And when Sumlin was gone, what was everybody saying? He just can't finish games. We're only a one-half team. We can't do any. We can't play in the second half. He's got to go. We literally replaced him with a more expensive version of himself, and now we have to watch that every single freaking week. Yeah, Connor was a great player, and Connor got hurt. But we heard time and time again how great Max was. Max has a ton of flaws. He does. He has trouble getting his reads down. He has trouble making decisions. He's not really quick with releasing the football. Yeah, that's the problems. You take those problems and you mix it with a line that looks like you poured water through a freaking cheese grater, and it's just an absolute disaster. This is what we get time and time again. I will say this, though, however. When Max Johnson was playing at LSU, he beat us. So, the player, once again, might not be the problem. We have to find a way out of this. I think there should be no more discussion of should Jimbo go, where does this go now? How long does he get that? The discussion should ultimately be, who are we finding to replace Jimbo that can turn this program around? Who can we give the keys to a Ferrari to and let them take us to the national championship? How do we find that person? Who is that person? And let's not make the world's dumbest mistake part 2 with another billion-dollar contract that has no clauses at all in it that lets them make the money whether they suck or not. I really think that a lot of times as Aggies we're way too nice to ourselves about giving people second, third, fourth, and sixth chances. Are we really going to wait around and give a 7th chance so that we can watch this happen again? Are we going to allow the entire group of these recruits that we have to run freely away to the transfer portal and go somewhere else? All these people that we're supposed to be picking up extra, the recruits we're trying to flip to build a better team. What are we willing to let go of? How far into the ground are we willing to run it before we just go ahead and admit this is a problem, we really screwed up, we've got to figure out a way to get the money to get this done, which you hear two sides of that story. One group tells you that the $75 million ain't a problem, they could come up with that tomorrow if they wanted to. The next group tells you that $75 million is a problem no matter when they got to come up with it, which I could see that. However, we have to figure out how to move past this, because I'm telling you guys and gals right now, as long as Jimbo Fisher is in the driver's seat, we will not see a SEC championship, and we will not see a national championship from Texas A&M. As many 5 stars as we got, as many 4 stars as we got, as much nice facilities as we got, the heart and soul of the 12th man, the best, everybody wants to make fun of the we got the Yell Eaters, we got the tradition, we got all the money in the world, we got the best facility, we got the best fans, we got 5 stars and 4 stars all over the place, and we don't have a swinging soul to lead them into battle. And that's a recipe, just a straight-up recipe for being disappointed year after year after year. Somebody find the people that signed the contract, tell them to figure out a freaking way to get that contract out or pay him off and get somebody in to Kyle Field that has the balls to win football games and take us to the position we should be in. Texas A&M should be a top 4 team every single year and should be competing or contending for the national championship every single year. There is no way that what this program has that we cannot be right at the top year after year after year, other than Jimbo Fisher having the keys to the car. Blow me up below. Let me know how stupid I am. Go for it. I love all the comments, and I love talking with you guys and gals. If you haven't yet, go over to Twitter, at Skylar Sports. You can follow me on there, or click the subscribe button. Once we get to 50, we can go live, and you and I can interact together, and then y'all can really jump on me. Till next time, peace.